Welcome everyone to our Monday, April 13th City Council meeting. And if we can have a call of order and for a quorum.
Bob Thomas.
Here.
Troy Zeller.
Here.
David Mitchell.
Here.
Trey McClellan.
Here.
James DeVito.
Here.
Mickey Schneider.
Here.
That's 6.
All right. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do I get a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Any additions? Bob?
Add application for moped franchise.
And I'll second.
Under new business? Anything else?
Just a quick update on the fluoride that I'll be discussing at the Arkansas Department of Health on the 22nd.
I'll second that too.
Okay.
Is that new business?
Anything else? All those in favor of the agenda as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Everybody received their minutes and are able to read them, open them up. Get a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
Any deletions, errors, comments, additions? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. We do have some commission vacancies. We have one for HDC. The gentleman's just moved, and so anybody who's interested in HDC, please come down and put in an application. And we've got also another application, or some vacancies in the, looks like the cemetery. And I guess that's it for right now.
Parks.
So, beg pardon?
It says parks here on this agenda, but I guess it's full.
Well, that expires, it says 19th. That's what it says. I don't know.
It says vacant, that's why I was wondering.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess it is vacant on the parks. I think we have somebody who has put in an application, and I haven't received their application yet. I was told somebody was putting one in that supposed to be an excellent person for parks. So I'm waiting to see, and hopefully we'll get that one filled.
Okay.
And of course, we've always got planning if Mickey wants to get out of the planning business.
Yes.
So please come on down. We do have some places for you to come in and do some public service, and we certainly would appreciate it. Next brings us up to public comments. I think Diane went out to grab the clipboard. Not just two people. Jackie Woven.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Jackie Wolven. I'm the Executive Director of Eureka Springs Downtown Network Main Street Program. And we had our annual event on Thursday where we give out our work plan and we, it's a good time actually. I won't go into details about how much fun that is. But I thought I'd pass that out to you so that you guys would have it. I think I have more than enough copies.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Here you go, Butch.
Thank you.
And we had the great fortune of having Greg Phillips, who's the director of Main Street, Arkansas, come down from Little Rock, and he gave us our actual accreditation. So when we first started, we were a downtown network, and then 2 years we went through the process of being actually accredited by the National Main Street Center, which is out of the National Trust. And in lieu of us having a physical location, we would like to give this to you to put in City Hall so that all of the city can be part of the work that's happening downtown.
Well, thank you.
And then, briefly, this is the information that we provided to the business owners that attended to help them understand the free resources that are available both through us and the state, and contact information. And then we also, because we think it's needed, we put together a calendar of events from April through June, and then all of the attractions that are available in one place. This was actually a request from a board member, Fatima Truer. She said that it would be extremely helpful for her if she could have this all in one spot instead of having to look for it. So hopefully this will be a resource, and we will hand these out downtown, and we will make sure that any business owner that wants this, we will get them a copy of this. So thank you, and if you ever have questions about what Main Street, what we do, I'm happy to answer, and I'm just pleased as punch that we're a nationally accredited group.
Congratulations.
Oh, right,
Thank you.
yeah. So those are our new shirts.
Thank you.
You bet. Here you go.
Mr. Moyer.
We're sort of a tag team. Jackie asked me to follow up on the presentation regarding the ESDN, the Main Street program. I'm the chairman of the Main Street program. And specifically, she wanted me to speak to the economic development arm of ESDN. That's included actually in your little packet. We have a press release. It's actually 2 press releases. But Jackie wanted me to talk about 2 components. Number one is our board, our excellent board, also raises their hand to audit the downtown district on a monthly basis. Jackie, as the Main Street Director, is charged with reporting the status of the district back to Main Street, Arkansas. With that said, we're also sort of the eyes and ears of availability, shop vacancies, places to live, new real estate opportunities, et cetera, et cetera. So we're auditing the district and providing information on the district, and then using social media as a strategy to attract new investors. The stats are really quite amazing, and the success rate has been quite good. So you'll see that a little bit in the press release, but please know that you do have somebody out there auditing the district and putting that out. Jackie will get 1,800 views on a piece of property that'll go onto the social media. So I think that's excellent. The other component is a work segment of the Main Street program called Main Street Reimagine Main Street, and Reimagine Main Street is all of the components from increasing foot traffic to increasing vacancy. It also talks about downtown native plantings, gardens along Main Street, and creating awareness and stimulating reinvestment. So things like the crosswalks, the stairwell arches, and also sort of crafting a plan and a vision so that the area from the train depot to the Grand Central, which is the first area of focus, will gain some consumer confidence to stimulate reinvestment. And then, of course, that program will follow all the way up to the top of Plainer Hill. Jackie wanted me to invite you to an event. Made on Main is May 16th. It's a crafters fair that will really focus from the Grand Central Hotel down to the train station. And it's one of many events and many components of this program that's really intended to drive foot traffic. What we've determined, what we know, is businesses are having difficulty gaining routes because there's not enough feet walking past. So thank you for the time. I heard the buzzer. I got the hook. It was great to see you all. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Jack.
Were there extra copies? Thank you.
Thank you. Laura Coker?
When do you go and do your talk?
Does Eureka have an app, a mobile phone app with the events on it?
Good evening,
We
sirs
don't?
and ma'ams, and hello to my fellow citizens. I'm here to speak about the civil rights that were vacated improperly by the Public Health Committee, including Senators Bledsoe, Irvin, Sanders, and anyway, the report is that there were 2 nays and 3 yeas. There were 3 absent. Irvin walked out as soon as they announced the issue. That is local control and optional fluoride versus state imposition. And the other 2, Sanders and Ingram, were no-shows until after that vote. I consider that to be, at a minimum, dereliction of duty. And what they did was they took the right of the Senate, the full Senate, to vote, as the House had done, on the issue of local control and optional fluoride versus state mandate. And that's unconscionable. I've asked the FBI to investigate. I checked with the Attorney General. They said it isn't their venue. But I do believe that the $500 million initial estimate that was so grossly underestimated, provided by Delta Dental Foundation, cost is now $7.5 million to $8 million for the fluoride equipment. And Mr. Mayor was kind enough to have his secretary call for the fluoride fact sheet by the ADA, the 2006 edition that was used to presumably convince our legislators of safety of fluoride in 2011. And they indicated that after 7.5 or 8 million outlay, they're unwilling to provide those, and we have to download them at a print cost of about $7 per person. Now, Eureka Springs is on a cusp here. I can prove, we can prove, even with the contents of people routinely walking around in this city, the contents of their head, they have sufficient knowledge to prove that fluoride is not safe. It targets all of the neurotransmitter transport systems. And aluminum and fluoride bind together, and it's in the toothpaste and it's in our water, and it is not safe and acts like a ligand, etc. And there's a bunch of new information. Now, there's a reversal of Alzheimer's symptoms for the first time using using chelation agencies to remove the aluminum from the brain of Alzheimer's and other individuals' neurodegenerative disease, and they've actually reversed the symptoms. And Eureka Springs is on a cusp, if they are willing to step up and write the book with me, to disprove fluoride and to reform medicine using our practitioners here, adjunctive and alternative therapies, including nutritionals and organic and heirloom foods, and diet, exercise, and pure waters. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Apologize for being slightly disorganized, but we know that's kind of my style. Thank you.
Well, there is no other people signed up for public comments, so we can go on to the update on the council room by Mr. DeVito and Mr. Mitchell.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Okay. I went ahead and did some more research. I guess good news, bad news. What I discovered was just about, I guess, what we found out the last time this came up. We looked at going into moving up into the courtroom. I guess the cons, the pros on that, of course, is larger room, parking. We have access. The cons are accessibility, but which can be handled. Also, the problem with a couple of the biggest problems, I guess, and it can be overcome, is that we have some new equipment. If we move it up to the courtroom, it's going to take takes 2 people to move the equipment, approximately 2 hours to get it up there, set it up and everything. And I say it takes 2 people. It takes 2 people to operate because of the acoustics and the sound. You've got one handling the video, and then you've got somebody handling the audio. So you basically have a staff of 2, where we've got 1 right now. It's also takes about 2 hours to set it up, and it's going to take about an hour and a half to set down, and then bring it back up into these rooms. So we got an hour, 3 hours, 3.5 hour extra time in labor to do that. Again, we're not sure, anytime you move equipment and everything, it's going to be rough on the equipment. It's going to be hard on the equipment. When we're up there, it can be, and if most of y'all being old council members have been up there and know, there's times when it can be a little bit difficult to hear one to the other, even among council members, because we're sitting basically probably at a straight table. And if I'm not mistaken, I have to go back up there. Sometimes I think there's a column that may sit right in the middle of us, and so we move out. But there's a little bit of communication, can be a communication problem among us. Can be, as witnessed today, we wouldn't be able to do it today because the court is being carried over until tomorrow. So this is a rare occasion. They don't often have the court carrying over from Monday to a Tuesday, but for some reason, whatever's going on today, that's happening. That's probably what's happening with the upstairs. The transit department, when we looked at it, we got parking up there. We can move our equipment up there. We could set our equipment up there permanently, so we don't have to worry about that. The downside is we would be expanding it. There is a wall up there right now, and I'm double checking, and Smitty is checking to make sure that, since that was funded by the federal government in the transit, whether or not we can use that, and if we can use it, if we're going to have to pay rent for it. We don't know for sure, and I can report back on that. The other issue, too, is there's a wall that separates. Right now, the room they got is about this size. Taking that wall out, on the other side, they use it for storage, so we'd be able to move the wall out. We would gain maybe seating for, and I don't remember exactly, but another 15 people by moving the wall out and through there, maybe 20 people. Not quite doubling the size of this room and through there. It's handicap accessible. There's a lot of, with the exception of we wouldn't be able to get a lot of people up there if we needed to be. Of course, now we don't always need to do that. Sometimes when we do that, we still go up to the courtroom. But I don't know, since, I guess if we did that, then we wouldn't be able to tape it. Or we'd have the same problem, even worse, by moving the equipment and everything. The other 2 issues that we came up with was the possibility the police station has a basement, has a large room. We could set up our station up there. The downside is parking, not a lot of parking. If we're looking at, and I just guessed, and if we have, and it's probably not uncommon when we have maybe 20, 30 people here, we'll have, what we got here, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rooms and seats, and 10, and so we've had 20, 30 people out in the hallway. That's probably 20 to 30 cars plus council members, so we're looking at 40 cars. Police station wouldn't be able to handle that, I don't think. The other option, too, I looked at was a fire station. Again, it's a good spot. They've got room, no parking. Or limited parking, I should say. I guess we could, everybody could park over at McDonald's, back in the McDonald's parking lot. Yeah. The police station also might have a little issue with, we're not sure, and I'd have to double check on if there's a bathroom accessibility downstairs. I know they're going upstairs, but keeping the public from going up into the police department may be an issue. So that's kind of what I found out on those 4 issues. James?
Well, in my opinion, the only option is the courthouse upstairs. Accessibility of records, copy machines, all the stuff that's here in place in the courthouse right now. We have met up there a few times, in the last few years. And, as far as acoustics go, maybe we have to mic everybody. Is there any problem with keeping the equipment up there permanently?
We wouldn't be able to have the other commissions unless they met up there.
Okay. As far as the other commissions go, with all due respect to the other commissions, we can tape them and tape delay broadcast for the other commissions. They would have to be meeting up there? Well, if they were going to continue to meet down here, I'm assuming all you'd have to bring is the camera down to record it without all of the other stuff.
Well, I think there's some other issues with the new equipment. I'm not sure. It's not as simple as, that's what I thought. Can't you just take a camera up there?
Okay, well, let's back up then. Well, let's just purchase another camera for down here.
Yeah.
I think we've gone on too long with this room, and quite frankly, it stifles the community. Court's not in session right now, is it?
Will be tomorrow. No, it's not today.
Okay, but I can't think of the time in all the years I've been on council that there's ever been court in session while we're meeting here. So, to me, that's not an issue. I feel we have to make every effort to make that work upstairs. I think it's a disservice to this community to continue to meet in this room. It inhibits the free flow of ideas, and it inhibits people's coming down here and participating in their government. So if we're talking about a few $1,000s, to purchase another camera to have down here, I see no reason, even council, that it has to be broadcast live. I think tape delay is perfectly acceptable, and if people want to see a live council meeting, then come on down. But I just think, I feel like we're in a storage room here, and I think it's about the size of most storage rooms, quite frankly. And I think we need to make every effort possible to move upstairs to the courtroom.
All right, thank you. Mickey?
Couple of points. When we were first looking at transit originally, several years ago, the idea at the time was moving city offices and therefore council meetings there, which meant city offices would be the ground level and transit would move to the lower, so there wasn't a problem in having a council meeting there and having room for more people than what would be downstairs. That was a tie-in thing. As far as upstairs go, I could have sworn that we bought extra equipment. Didn't we get extra equipment so we'd have equipment that we left upstairs and equipment down here?
We talked about it but never did it.
But we never did it. Okay. Because that would still be the better of two deals, having two sets of equipment, so nothing got moved. And that's the problem with court, is the timing of how long it takes to get from here up there with the equipment, not the fact that they're going on with this or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Now,
Taking 2 hours, Don could, have to start at 4 o'clock to get it set up by 6.
and a lot of times court, even if they're going to carry over, will go until 6 or so. So that's that problem. Have we totally given up any hopes for using the old school eventually? I know we're talking very heavily right now about senior centers and stuff.
The old school.
Community, yeah, the old high school. Community room and all that kind of stuff, that's still something that we could move in over there.
That's something that'll be in the future.
Right, well, that's the thing, it's way down the road, and yeah, I hate this room too. But that's still, as far as I know, that's still a possibility on the horizon.
Yeah.
Way down.
David?
To go back to something that James said, that because Mickey was discussing, James mentioned that it's really not maybe necessary to broadcast live different commissions meetings, and it may not be necessary to broadcast live these meetings. So, and possibly buying just an extra camera would resolve a lot of those issues. So moving the equipment up and down, taking those hours would be eliminated by an extra camera, pre-recording, and then just putting it on YouTube and going away from the live. So I want to go back to what he said about that, because that does have some merit to me, and makes potentially upstairs possibly more viable.
Mr. McClung?
We'd also have to do a new set of mics for everybody. It's not just a camera, unless they've got them up there. Which I didn't think they did. So you're looking at least 10 sets.
We're talking about taking everything up and leaving it and just having a camera for here. An extra camera for down here.
Well, how are you going to get the people down here for this meeting? Are they just, you're not going to mic them for the other commissions?
That's them.
So,
And I guess, James, I'm confused too. What would happen with the other commissions? What were you thinking on that?
right here.
Well, they would meet down here,
Okay.
and we'd have to purchase a camera.
Camera, mics, and all the
Right,
necessary
right.
equipment. Okay.
Yeah. Long term, we've also got to be thinking about a new hospital, which frees up that building, which suddenly presents a whole new dynamic for where would you like City Hall to be?
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
You said that the transit building has a basement?
Mm-hmm.
And is it large enough for a council meeting?
For the money involved, I don't think it would give us near enough room what the council the room upstairs would give us.
Okay.
We would be able to seat maybe 20, 30, 20, 25 people. I haven't put an actual
But it would
count
be
on
more
We had,
more comfortable and more accessible because it's the parking is easier there. Yeah.
But it's a limited number of people.
Yeah. Well, the upstairs, frankly, those what limits you upstairs is how uncomfortable those seats are for the public to sit. I mean, they're incredibly uncomfortable. That building, it's really not accessible. It's very difficult for people to get to. The lighting is very bad. I mean, I've had a lot of meetings up there.
We'll just have makeup.
It's not any the discomfort of that room up there is about equal to the discomfort of this room down here, really, is the way I'm looking at it. I don't know whether it's worth the effort to do that. I think it's, I think maybe we should just keep looking and see if we can find another alternative.
Terry?
The basement room at the fire station is probably the best room as far as space, really, to use. Now, you do have you do have the availability of the backside of McDonald's as well as in the evening over at the bank. So it's not that far away for parking up there. That really is that is doable for a location different than here. I'm of the mind that if we can figure out how to stay here until the hospital itself frees up. Because I got a feeling one way or another in the next few years that's probably going to.
One way or another, yes.
So
And
it has the parking and
yeah.
and you'll have to spend some money on it anyway. I mean, we own it.
I haven't checked, and I'm sure that the schedules can be arranged accordingly. The fire station uses that room for training.
Primarily Wednesdays, but they have other meeting nights on that.
They have some training at nights, but I'm still thinking that could probably be arranged. I haven't talked to the fire station to coordinate any of this, so this was just thrown out. So don't worry, chief, or fireman, or anybody else. We're not thinking about taking over immediately.
Well, and the police station would have the clinic parking if needed.
And I haven't talked to the police station either. So
That's not our-
Or the clinic.
Or the clinic. But yeah, I mean, you know, whatever, the nice thing is those places could be set up permanently for all the committees. But again, like y'all mentioned, eventually we'll probably have another room at the hospital availability for all the city offices.
In other words, a decision now would be premature.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, if the council wants to go ahead and, you know, we can find out how much it costs to buy another setup for camera and microphones and stuff, so we can leave it upstairs for council meetings. We can do that. I mean, I don't know if we're looking at 5,000, 10,000, 500. I'm sure it's not 500, but you know exactly how much it is. So, and then the council can make that decision based on dollars. And I mean, that's basically it. As long as we eliminate, I mean, to me, the negative thing is it's hard on the equipment, and it takes, you know, we're spending an extra man, another 3 hours. Well, we got 6 hours, man hours of moving equipment. But if we buy our own equipment, then that eliminates that. So, James?
I can't condone moving equipment. I mean, logistically and financially, that's not a practical solution. Let's just keep this on the agenda. You might explore with the the fire station more. Ask Don or whomever what the cost of a camera. I know we just shot a movie on an iPad, so you know, if we're just looking for video and audio, I mean, you know, we're not doing a live broadcast necessarily for the committee rooms down here. And I even question the need for a live broadcast on council meetings. I mean, so I'd like to leave it on the agenda.
Okay. Mickey, you got
Just
a final?
a couple of quickies. Rented transit should be $1. Can't remember if it's a month or a year. It was one or the other. That's an official amount. And what about main stage?
Parking.
Oh, Basin Park took over the whole lot, didn't they? I forgot.
Yeah. There's no
Boy,
parking
that's a
really
nice big
there.
open place. Worth looking
Well,
into.
and then we're paying a private.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I bet you they do $1 a month too.
I don't know.
At any
So
rate.
y'all, basically, I don't know whether there needs to be a motion or not, but you want me to go ahead and I'll check into the finances of moving what it would cost to buy this equipment, and I'll go ahead and check in on the fire station. And
I'd so move if anybody needs.
okay.
Yeah, I agree. Go for it.
All right, got a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Second item is water meters. Dwayne's been a little bit busy
Can't understand
with
that.
our quote hole next door.
The big dig.
The big dig. The number one attraction in Eureka Springs this last week was the big dig. We could have sold, put a fence around and sold visuals. I don't know whether, did we get a copy? Okay. Y'all should have a copy of Dwayne's little update. We haven't received, and Lonnie is also has not been able to put the dollar signs to it as David was wanting. But I think this will kind of, on the second page, basically kind of gives you an idea of what the percentages are with the commercial, residential, and the total active meters. And as he noted in here in the beginning, we have over 1,800 water meters, but they're not all billed each month. And we're replacing 95% of the active water meters. And basically, a lot of this was because there's going to be a time delay in through here because we're having problems getting the water meters from the company, especially the larger ones. So we're also trying to do this as time permits and through there. Our goal is, and I'm trying to encourage him to get them done as fast as possible, but certainly by the end of this year we'll have all the water meters changed out. And what I'll do by the next council meeting, I'm hoping, get you with working with Lonnie, an estimate on what our projected water rates and increase will be, or projection for the water budgets, I should say.
For accurately recording the amount used for a change.
Yes, on there. So, and I guess also y'all know eventually, and it kind of goes along with this same way, Carroll Boone Water District has given the city a rate increase, and I don't really want to quote it right now exactly because I'll probably misquote it, but it's 15 cents to 20 cents per thousand increase, 25%. Cents, not percent, but cents per thousand gallons that we're going to have to deal with shortly. Whether we will absorb that or how we will deal with that will come up before the council on there. So,
just can't get ahead.
No. Yes, sir.
And just as a reminder, so that anybody listening to this or anything out there, we need to remember the pressure the city was under by the bonding authority because of the issue about increases that had not taken place incrementally over quite a few years, that caused us to start to become very close to having problems with our bonding company because we weren't doing what we were supposed to have been doing all along. And Lonnie did quite a bit of work with them, and it looked like that the opportunity of fixing the meters, when we finally took the amount of water we bought and the amount of that we billed and found a massive difference there, kind of a easy formula, but it finally happened, and it looks like that we can put off having the bonding company come in and set our rates for us. So in essence, what we're talking about is not increasing the water rates in this city, but accurately recording and billing for the water that has always been being used.
All right. And I'm not sure that the average citizen realizes that we buy our water just like anyone else, and all we're doing is throwing that on to the consumers. And for a long time, again, I think we were, for all of the water that we were getting, we were only being able to pay out and bill out, I want to say around 40%, 41%.
Embarrassing.
And so anybody in business knows you can't do that. You're losing money. And that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
So, now we are seeing on the uphill side of that. So. Anything else on that? I'll put this back on the agenda for next time, and we'll get some more information from Lonnie to see where we are financially on that. All right, next thing is, and just briefly on the update on Black Bass Dam. Can I have a motion to discuss?
Second.
We've seen the emails from D. Percupile regarding this issue. I have instructed our Public Works Director and worked with him, and basically what we're going to be doing is reducing lowering the water level down to the height of basically the original dam, which is roughly anywhere from 8 to 10 feet, to try to keep the leakage and the damage down to a minimum. If we're okay, if by doing that, Mr. Perkpile seems to think that we're in a safety zone at that point. Now, what I've also done and have been talking with the state, and I've been trying to, Terry and I went down when we were down for another issue down there. We met with the Natural Resource Commission to see if there was any monies available for repair, and they weren't real encouraging. But I'm still looking at some other issues, and now that we're eligible for our community development block grant, that's their next priority for me, is to go ahead and apply to get a grant to repair the dam. And once we are at that point, of course, one of the things we have to do is get an engineer, solicit engineers, and get some engineering drawings and working drawings on that so we can put that out for bids. And before, when we get to that point, what I will do is we had, and I think the council's been shown 3 different concepts of repairing the dam. And so we'll probably come back at that point and ask the council, what the council's wish is. I kind of know where mine is. Mine's more or less the middle of the road, and then we can go ahead and direct the engineers to start preparing drawings for that repair work, and then put it out for bids. And so hopefully, what I'm actually keeping my fingers crossed is hopefully that will be done this year. We've got community development block grant application in right now. As you know, we're repairing our drainage tunnel right out beside the courthouse, and the county has, I can't give the county judge and the county workers enough kudos. They're just doing an excellent job. They've been putting in 10 to 12-hour days. They worked Saturday, they worked Sunday. The city, public works people have been with them, but it's been the majority at the county with their heavy equipment and stuff. The other issue we have with the drainage tunnel is down by the combination below Grand Central at Water Street, where Steel, Water, Flint, all come together. We have another blockage, potential blockage there. And so we're now applying for a grant with the Community Development Block Grant, possibly to repair that. I would have changed it and done the Black Bass Lake, but I don't think it's enough money at this point to take care of Black Bass Lake. So we're going to be looking at that one for our next issue. Yes, sir.
Well, on that grant there, something that you need to look at too is when we went in underneath the building on the, I'm going to call it the north end of the auditorium, where the
foundation work on the auditorium.
On that other, well, it's on that other side,
right?
Where that pipe comes through, the drainage pipe, and how it has that's big time erosion there.
And one of the things
to make some kind of a spillage for it to some way to channel that. I think as part of that.
And I think a lot of that's going to be probably a concrete drainage thing right there. It's kind of hard to explain, but there is a large space on the north end of the auditorium that's probably, it's almost like it's not a cavern, but it's about 20 feet tall, 20 feet wide, and the creek runs down the middle of it, but there's a big drainage culvert that comes in off of First Street that's been draining all the water for years. And what it's done is it's been hitting next to the auditorium foundation, and it's been eroding away the dirt next to the foundation of the auditorium. So that's where, when we go in and repair some of the foundations underneath the auditorium with this situation we got now, we're going to try to look at that and take care of that at the same time, hopefully. That was kind of, I got a little bit off sidetrack with Black Bass Dam, but that's kind of brings the update on, with a little bit of luck and, keeping our fingers crossed, maybe we can see some work started on Black Bass Dam this year. It's my goal anyway. So, any other questions on that? If not, we've got a number 3 application on a franchise on mopeds. Do I have a motion to discuss?
Move to discuss. Second.
All right. Bob?
Well, I think Ann has got a completed application here. To understand that the current franchisee is going to close down, and we have a new person He wants to take it over.
Yes.
Oh, so what this is? Okay.
Hello again, guys. Hi, I'm Tony Lillig. This is my wife, Holly Lillig, and we're here to apply for the scooter franchise in town. Any questions?
I just want to let you know that all the requirements on the application have been met. And I didn't print them all off, but all the units are insured. So,
Gee, a complete application.
Guys, the reason why I'm here is because I've walked. Tony kind of worked with me during the 14 season, and he kind of seen how things operated quite a bit. And I've been working with Tony a lot for him to be able to run the operation pretty much identical to what we have. And I think they're very capable. Tony's a motorcycle rider himself. He's got a motorcycle endorsement. He spent quite a bit of time. He's pretty knowledgeable when it comes to that kind of stuff. We've rode around the whole town. I've showed him the restricted roads. I've showed him the dangerous parts, the problems, the things about town that we have had problems with, the concerns that we have, and above all, the safety factor. He's watched me test people, to show them, to go through the cones and when they're safe to be able to ride. And I do believe that him and his wife would be, very responsible with it.
We've discussed that a lot about the test that they have to take, and if there's any questions, it'll be a no. I mean, I won't do that to anybody. I don't want to put them out there, and safety is going to be one of our big concerns with this whole thing. It's worked out real well in the past, and I don't see there'd be any difference. There's quite a few things they have to be capable of doing, and if they're not able to do that, then I just won't let them rent the scooters. And also, the thing asks for 16 and younger, or you have to have a driver's license 16 and under, but we'll only do 18 and under. Between 16, 18 and over. Yeah, between 16 and 18, there's big variables there. And so we'll try to have them 18 years and older with a valid driver's license.
David?
Question for the clerk. So we have a complete application for a franchise.
correct.
And how many franchises do we have? Just the one?
One.
And this one is being moved from the current person to this new person?
Ideally.
That's what they're asking for tonight.
Moving,
That's the
ideally.
plan.
Just moving it, okay.
So,
Moving locations as well.
Moving locations as well.
And I've got a question on that.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead,
Okay.
please.
So you're going to be on the end of the parking lot down there by the storage, crossing the storage units
Correct.
there.
Correct. Straight
I don't
across
remember,
the
is there a
unit.
structure there now?
No, sir.
So you're talking about moving in?
I'll be bringing the Durskin building in. It'll be a little front porch on the front and a garage door where I'll be able to store the scooters in at night.
Uh-huh. Have you talked to the building inspector about that as to
Yes.
what
Yes.
you're allowed to have,
Right.
restroom facilities?
Right. I have a thing on actually what I'm going to get. It's just a Durskin building.
Well, that's,
Facilities.
Yes.
Well, that's not...
I plan on putting a portable toilet outside the back, and on the inside I'll have a water jug for drinking water if somebody needs water. And I talked to Bobby about the building, and if I'm going to have it wired for electric, I have to have a licensed person. And I've talked to the power company. I'm going to have to set a pole with a light on it back by my building, and we've discussed all the stuff that needs to be done there.
One more question for the city clerk. So this application is still for the 49cc mopeds,
Correct.
not motorcycles, mopeds.
Up to 150cc is what it just hasn't been. We got the minutes on that, but it is up to 150cc is what that
I don't see it
should
on
fall
the-
underneath that franchise.
I don't see that on the application.
I don't think it has to be, does it?
Anything above 50 requires a motorcycle endorsement. Council did discuss allowing them to have 150 cc's. It was never put in code, and it would no longer be a moped.
I don't think we can restrict
We
them
can't,
renting it
right.
anyway.
Yeah, that's not under
Yeah.
our
We discussed
purview.
that last
No, we
time.
had
We-
that.
we- So we're just dealing strictly with mopeds and franchises on
So
mopeds.
if we can't restrict the other, why are we restricting these? I just want to ask that question.
Because of the bedlam we had when it was on Plainer Hill.
No, seriously.
But-
That's your
okay,
answer.
Okay, Mr. McClung.
The reason is because the 50s, 49cc, less than 50, doesn't require a motorcycle endorsement.
Right.
Anything larger than that does. That's why we've always regulated this. And it used to be that in some states are still where you don't have to have a driver's license to even operate a 49cc.
We don't hear, yeah, because I.
No, we do now.
We do. Yeah.
We do have to. But you do not have to have the motorcycle endorsement.
Right.
That's,
So because you can get a motorcycle endorsement, then we don't need a franchise? We don't need to franchise it? It's just, it's open to anybody.
anything over the 49.
So anybody can come in and rent motorcycles?
Sure.
Okay, I'm just trying to.
Or cars. Or
I was trying to keep that from being able to happen last time I was here.
Yeah, I'm just
It's
really clear.
It's almost like cars, renting cars.
Yeah. And I guess they find that anything that displaces over 49cc is more public transportation instead of, more of a tourist type or a, something fun to do. Recreational, that's the word.
Okay, got it.
But guys, I've done this for the time that I've been here, and I've done it safely. And I've decided to go on and head back to go to work back for the phone company and such. And I've went through this, and I've found ways to make sure that people stay safe on the thing. Ultimately, that's what's important, is to make sure that we don't have people busting their heads down here and end up in the hospital over here, and Chief Hyatt having to chase after people all the time. I have narrowed it down to where as long as Tony stays by the same, follows the city ordinances, and does it the way we do it. I mean, he can do this safe and be just as successful at it as me and Tasha was, And I don't have any problem spending as much time as needed to make sure that it continues to be a safe thing and a respectful thing for Eureka,
Yes, Josh.
Considering that we've not had any problem with this franchise up to now, and they have complied with everything that they need to do, very willingly, I make a motion that we approve this application for a franchise.
Mr. McClung?
Yeah, just, all I can say into that this is all that we can do, but you have to understand that you do have to meet all the city requirements through the building inspector.
Yeah, right.
And HDC,
I'll be filling out-
HDC, that's in their
I have all those
district and all that.
applications,
So.
and I've been working on them all to set the building. Like I said, I just got an address this morning, so everything's working towards having it going pretty quick.
Good. Any other questions, comments? We have a motion and a second to approve the franchise applicant. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Thank you so
congratulations.
much, guys, and it was fun. I had a lot of fun.
Gonna
doing
miss
it,
you,
so.
Phil, and you didn't
Yeah.
call and
Hey, if I come back next time, if I start another business here, it'll be the biggest thing around. If I come back, I've actually got some future plans. So.
Thank you, guys.
Well, follow him. He did good, and y'all, good luck.
All right,
Thank you
Thanks
very
a lot.
much. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Probably be motorcycles.
All right, next item of business is the fluoride. And David, you want to make a motion to discuss?
So moved.
Second.
The city received the opportunity, based on our resolution that we also sent to the Arkansas Department of Health, to have one speaker go to the April 22nd, 10 a.m. meeting in Little Rock over on West Markham to address the Arkansas Department of Health. I volunteered to do that and am going down. In process of doing that, I have contacted the engineer for the Carroll Boone Water District and had the opportunity to talk to him the other day, because I've been getting input from various people, as you can imagine, because this is a very passionate topic. It would be a nice way to put it. The last thing a lot of people were talking about was the fact that the analysis that came from the company out of Belgium that's going to be supplying the fluoride chemicals contained lead, and that was a hot topic for a lot of people. And so I discussed that with him and found out that the lead that's in there is so minute that it falls under the limit that the Arkansas Department of Health requires. So the issue of lead being in the fluoride chemicals is not significant, and so I will not be addressing that. I've also looked at the Arkansas Department of Health and the board and the members and find that most of them are physicians. There's a vet, a pharmacist, a nurse, and I think a business owner. So it's pretty obvious that the people on the Arkansas Department of Health board are qualified education-wise to be sitting there. So it's not my intent to go down from the city and attempt to educate them about the pineal gland, aluminum, lead, or anything else. But in talking to Joe Green, who was the guru of fluoride that was out in California that recently passed away from a heart attack.
Green.
Jeff Green, sorry, Jim Green. Jeff Green, he had brought up, and I remember way back then, the issue to bring up the fact that, let me get this correct, that for at least allow the local districts to not fluoride the water until they can get, besides the analysis of the chemicals that are being purchased, a letter from the supplier that says that the chemicals that you're adding to the water that you're purchasing from this company are safe for human consumption. And evidently that little issue right there and that comment has been used successfully across the United States extensively, and especially by a lot of water districts in the area in California that have never fluorided yet because they can't find any supplier of fluoride chemicals anywhere in the world that will write that statement. And so there is a potential. So that's kind of where I'm going to be going with the Arkansas Department of Health, is to tie in the fact that we had Senator King up here had introduced the bill in an attempt to give local districts the option to fluoride. Obviously, when King did that, he wasn't just thinking of Eureka Springs and our resistance to that, but I'm sure Berryville, and based on what I heard from Carol Boone, there were other people besides us that are concerned about fluoride. So I think he was in an attempt to do that. Obviously, it didn't come out of committee. It's a dead issue. It's shelved, and it's over with. So taking the opportunity to go to the Department of Health, that's where I'm probably going to go, and I'll have it obviously cleaned up by then, and I'll be speaking much better to the topic. But I do have the opportunity for 10 minutes, and I don't even think I'll probably need that long to make this point. I don't believe personally that you should count on it doing any good at all. In doing more research on the Arkansas Department of Health, I found a fact sheet that says the Arkansas Department of Health supports fluoridation. So they have their own information out that they support it. But I feel it's imperative to still go down and be heard.
I appreciate you going down to representing the city on that.
Good luck.
Any questions? All right. That brings us to agenda setting. Joyce from Zeller, you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Mickey?
Nope.
David?
No.
James?
Not today.
Mr.
You wanted to
McClung?
do an update?
No, sir.
Nope.
All right.
Update.
Well, we do have a couple items we'll carry over to the next meeting that I'll bring you back some information on. How about comments? City Council comments. Bob, you got any? I'll go backwards.
I would just encourage everybody to remember to vote in May and don't wait until the last day. Go as soon as you can.
All right. Mr. McClung.
I apologize for missing the workshop.
Missed a lot.
Shame on me. I have no idea. I think I was the one that instigated the idea.
My bad.
You and David.
Oh. So it goes. That's all.
All right, James.
Echoing Councilman Bob's suggestions about supporting 2223. We have now closed on your ability to register to vote. So we're looking for a Get Out the Vote initiative. Early voting will start May 5th.
Through the 11th.
We have set up a store at the old Jim Nelson's leather shop. What was it called? Nelson's Leather. What a clever name.
I don't know.
You can get T-shirts, campaign buttons, yard signs. You can now put up your yard signs and all the other information. Literature, answers to questions. People are well-versed that are staffing the office down there on Spring Street. So stop in, say hi, pick up some yard signs or some literature, a little better explanation on what's involved here, and encouraging everybody to vote. It's a very important issue, both for Eureka Springs and the state of Arkansas, and be informed.
Thanks, James. Mr. Mitchell.
No, I've been fine.
Mickey.
Well, I hope everybody dried out after our little drowning incident a few weeks ago. I know it took my shop forever. Hopefully the city is looking into that. Is UPS store still doing?
Yes. Yeah, there's also.
Okay, so besides Nelson Leather, there, hand still isn't working. You do have the UPS store. Yeah, don't forget to vote. It is less than a month now from opening day of voting. So yes, all yard signs are legal, contrary to what's been going around. Other than that, just, yeah, make sure you vote. It'll be interesting. We're going to have a lot of new faces at the polls. Have fun, be nice, have patience. And on a personal note, Carol, we miss you.
Ms. Zeller.
Yes, I have an announcement. The day after tomorrow, Wednesday, April the 15th through the 18th, which is Saturday, my new time travel book, Lost Out of Time, will be on sale for 99 cents. It's a Kindle book, and you can get to it by going to Amazon.com and searching for books by Joyce Zeller. I'll come right up. It's at the top of the list there. And I think you'll like it. It's about time travel. It's got the Civil War in it. It's about a woman who rents a beach house in a little tourist town on the Jersey Shore, and you're going to see an awful lot of Eureka Springs in this little tourist town. And she falls in love with the ghost haunting the house, and then meets him when she gets back to 1860 and realizes that he's the love of her life. But he's been dead for 150 years, so there you go. Anyhow, get a copy of her, 99 cents. You can't go wrong. And for heaven's sakes, write a review if you liked it. Thank you.
And I imagine if you buy a copy, Joyce will be glad to autograph it.
Oh, absolutely.
But you have to come to a council meeting.
Yes, I may even kiss you.
On live TV.
All right, we've got, we've got a couple of comments. One, and somebody mentioned it earlier about our flood, the Public Works and the fire department did a great job of cleaning up the aftermath of the flood. And fire department, I know, spent a lot of hours, and we're talking about our budget and overtimes, and this is where some of the overtime goes into. They were down at Magnetic in Maine till I think around midnight that night, helping people that were literally trapped in their truck and getting them out and doing water rescues. And so then, within probably 2 days, it was hard to tell that we even had any flooding going into town. And it's one of the worst floods I had been involved in a long time, and even over the last 4 years. So both the fire department and the Public Works, need a great thank you on that, and I certainly appreciate them. And that goes, next thing is probably people have been noticing we've got a little activity going next door to the courthouse, between the auditorium and the courthouse. Contrary to one of the rumors, there are no cracks in the auditorium foundation. That was mud that was falling off the building, and there's still some mud up there that has been there, has not seen the light of day for about 100 years. But the building is actually in good shape. We're repairing the cave-in tunnel that has been needing to be repaired for quite a while. And again, the county judge and his crew has really jumped in, has done an amazing job with this. We are hoping, we've been very lucky with the rain holding off and bypassing us until we got all the culverts set. The culverts are set. We've got most of the, what we call the head wall, which is basically the wall between the auditorium and the first culvert, and the end culvert and connecting to the end of the tunnel. Poured concrete, that's kind of the transition pieces. We have those poured. Now we hit our first glitch. We've got the ring that the manholes that comes down and sit on. They were supposed to supply us with a concrete cover, and they told us today, actually they told us last week that they were making it. Today they said they hadn't even started making it. So we have taken the initiative of making our own cover and then setting it up. And again, kudos to Bill Hathaway, our structural engineer, because he's been helping us a tremendous amount in getting that done.
Question, Butch, on
Yes,
that,
sir.
just real quick. So are the two end pieces have been formed?
Yes.
Poured?
Formed and poured.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, they did that today in the rain. The county employees and some of the city people were working 10, 12 hours a day. They were working till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and then they were working this weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, to get this accomplished. We're hoping, if everything goes well, we can have this all covered up by next week and start our paving. So we're actually a 2-week project, if depending on weather again, and other unforeseen situations. Well, right now, this manhole cover, we're going to be pouring it tomorrow, and then we'll be setting our manholes going up. So at least this one will say, we're probably good for another 150 years, this portion,
Yeah, that's
at least. So anyway, they've done an excellent job. If you get a chance, go by and see it. It's probably the last time you'll see this part of the Ozarks in a long time. As far as announcements go and activities coming up, starting this Thursday, we have the 49th annual Springtime in the Ozarks coming in. We will be having probably close to 2,000 people coming into town, so I'm sure they'll be happy and having a lot of fun in town, and expect all the merchants will be glad to see them. The 17th and 18th, that we'll be having the 11th annual Carving in the Ozarks. The fire department's going to be sponsoring that this year, and it's a fundraiser for them. So be sure to go by and see that. April 18th, they've got a dinner and function out at the castle out of Beavertown called For the Cats in Turpentine Creek. So a lot of activities going on this weekend. Be a lot of people in town, a lot of fun. April 20th through 24th will be the citywide spring cleanup. So start getting your stuff ready and be able to clean that up, and I think they're going to be picking stuff up. I'm not sure on that.
You have to get your ticket by the 16th.
By the 16th, which is Thursday. So be sure to get your ticket. If you have large items or any items you want picked up, you have to purchase a ticket from the clerk or Public Works.
The lady in the hall downstairs.
Okay, lady in the hall downstairs. See the lady in the hall.
Not this person.
Yeah.
She the
April.
hall monitor?
Huh?
She the hall monitor?
She's the hall monitor, that's right. April 23rd through the 25th, Eureka Springs Indie Film Fest. That should be exciting. A lot of fun coming in. So, then also the 23rd to the 25th will be the 14th annual BMW Fest. 24th through 25th, we'll have our spring yards and yard sale. And then the 25th will be Lake Leatherwood Day with activities from 10 till 2. And April the 26th, we'll have the classic movie at the Odd Oliver at 7 o'clock. Yes, sir. Ma'am.
completely forgot because I couldn't find my note. May 25th is Memorial Day. We're supposed to meet. We need to change that date, so you might want to turn her loose on it early.
Okay. We'll have to figure out what we're going to do on the 31st.
This may be a dumb question. I'm just assuming, but Eureka Springs has an app for mobile phones that has all the schedule on it. Everything is going on. So our motorcycle riders can just flip with their thumb and find out what's happening. We have an app, right? A mobile app?
Are you asking or telling?
It's a question. I'm asking the two CAPC things.
CAPC?
We have an app for...
We have an app for mobile devices, yes.
Okay. I just thought it's too bad if we don't, because, gee.
We're way mobile.
There you go. Okay.
Just don't use GPS.
No, he started that early on.
Yeah, well, it's just, I think it's nice for people to know that we have that. You're on
Well,
top
and
of it.
another app, and this is for our locals and our visitors. Our transit department has an app now, and forgot what you call the tracking codes,
GPS stuff.
QRC codes, QR codes at most of the transit benches. Take your smartphone and do the QR code, and it will show you where the trolleys are running in relationship to where you are. And will tell you approximately what time the trolley should be there.
Oh, that is
So
cool.
I think that's pretty exciting. And not only for the locals, but also for our visitors in through here. So, and each trolley bench and parking, trolley schedule that they pick up will have that on there, and note that too. So now you can go on, and once you have that in your phone, all you got to do is hit that smartphone, and you can see where that trolley is in relationship to where you are. You don't have to be right at that bench, but you can be right here at the courthouse, and they'll tell you, you got to wait till 8 o'clock in the morning to catch a trolley. So, anyway, that's pretty exciting. We're finally coming up in the 21st century. Anything else from anybody? Have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thank you all.